Okay, welcome, guys. We are live. We are live. Welcome to the webinar. We were thinking about changing the topic because we had some great conversations in backstage there about everything from I don't know how to increase your salary, how to negotiate a pay rise to fake tans and everything in between. So it was a lot of fun. But that's not why we're here, is it, guys? That is not why we're here. We're here to talk about the state of the affiliate marketing in Australia. So there was a report that impact.com put out. We put it out last year, and it was all about the state of the affiliate market in Australia. And it was really interesting in that it is in a really good state. 71% of Australian marketers are increasing their affiliate marketing investment. That's due to the rising costs of traditional channels. And so, there is quite a fragmented market, and we're here to talk about how to take advantage of the affiliate marketing space. And I've got some experts on the panel. I'm going to get you guys to introduce yourselves, but before I do, I should also go through some of the housekeeping things. Now, if you need to go to the bathroom, okay, just take your laptop, take your phone. It doesn't matter because we can't see you. You can see us, we can't see you, right? So you can just do that. You can even make some noise. We're not even going to hear you. If you've got some questions down the bottom, you're actually able to ask some questions, and we will come back to those questions throughout or at the end. But Ash, I'm going to get you to introduce yourself first. So we've got three experts here. Ash,
Yep.
a little
So
bit about you, where you're from, that sort of thing.
perfect. I'm the head of performance marketing at the Big Red Group. So look after a portfolio of brands, including Red Balloon, Adrenaline, Experience, some areas of New Zealand as well. So affiliate sits within my team alongside paid search, paid social, and organic search.
Love it, Ash. Great to have you. Then we got Shelley.
Hi everyone, I'm Shelley. I'm the Performance Marketing Manager at Decjuba. We recently launched our affiliate program last year in September. And yeah, it's been really, really fun journey. I look after all those traditional media channels that Adam just mentioned, as well as affiliate marketing and analytics at Decjuba.
Love that. Chris, I could see you clapping there when Shelley was saying she launched her program. Does that mean that you helped out there as well?
We were their launch agency partner. So we've been working with Decjuba since August, and we launched them back into the channel after being away from the channel for a number of years. I was speaking to Shelley when we onboarded and kind of found out they were with Commission Factory like 6, 7 years ago. And even Shelley didn't know that. But I guess you've seen, and everyone has seen the rise and growth of Decjuba. But back to myself, I am Chris. I am the head of partnerships and affiliate at Thoughtful, working alongside Shelley and also Ash. So we are the agency partner for Big Red Group, alongside brands including Blue Illusion, Tony Bianco, The Collagen Co., Rebecca Valance, and Sabin as well.
Man, there is a lot going on in your world. Chris, great to have you. Please, you joined. I was nervous that you weren't going to make it this morning, but good to have you here. Okay, so let's start off with 80% of Australian marketers reporting stronger ROAS in the channel. Shelley, I'm going to come to you. So, how has your budget shifted away from traditional or rented media like Google and Meta and that sort of thing towards this performance-based partnerships?
So, a very interesting question. For Decuba, I would say that we aren't really shifting budget around, so to speak. So, the reason why we aren't is because performance channels are in a build and scale phase at the moment. So, that includes affiliates. We have bolstered our activity in Meta and Google recently, as well as that affiliate activity. But to your point, yes, Meta and Google, I believe, the transparency and it being auction based, it can kind of hide a few things where you've got competition, if you've got seasonality kind of playing a role, you've got algorithm changes in Meta Google that can kind of make things a little bit more difficult. Whereas with affiliates and partnerships, you do have that fluidity to be a bit more transparent and negotiate your rates and find out what exactly works for the brand that you're working with. I know you mentioned ROAS specifically and budget, unlocking budget.
Yeah.
For Decjuba, ROAS is more of a sense check when we speak to our finance teams and whatnot. But in terms of unlocking that budget, what we actually really look at is other KPIs, such as your new customer contribution, your CAC. Yeah, those kind of KPIs, because by looking at those KPIs, we're actually able to unlock other partnerships outside of last click attribution. So we do then look at, creators or media a bit differently, and we're working more on a full funnel affiliate strategy as opposed to just activating a conversion-based partnership. So being able to measure those KPIs is what unlocks those budgets. We're able to justify and give ourselves permission to use that budget for those things. And I would also say that now being on the brand side before marketplaces and all that, I am seeing the value beyond ROAS when we look at those partnerships. Like if we work with creators and those kind of guys, we're seeing AOV increase because the influencer is developing that relationship with your customer, and they're showing the full outfit. So your AOV increases, and that leads to longer relationship beyond that first initial transaction, so to speak.
Yeah, got it. Hey, I should have defined, I guess, up front as well. When we talk about affiliates, it means different things to,
Mm.
different businesses. Like in your world, when we talk about affiliates, Shelley, like what sort of sits within affiliates and partnerships?
Honestly, I don't think there's like a really strong definition. I would say, yes, you have your cashback and you have your deals, but you also have media, you also have creators, you also have potentially in-store solutions as well that could be affiliate partners. So for me, the way I look at it is affiliate is a trackable link. However you want to use that, however you want to activate that, that is an affiliate partner.
Yeah, got it. And we also talk about customers being affiliates as
Yeah.
well at impact.com. So customers referring customers. So it's sort of all of that included. Now, Chris, you work with a bunch of brands in this space. Why do you see it as like a fundamental part of kind of the marketing mix?
It's because you can ultimately tap into partnerships that are going to be brand aligned and objective based for your business. So, to Shelley's point, as Meta and Google become more competitive and brands want to internationally expand, for a brand who is new to market, new to channel, doesn't have the kind of budget or cut through that they're going to get in the US market or the UK market that they might have domestically because they have been around for a number of years. So, using these tactical kind of fundamental opportunities that come to fruition or are available to brands with the likes of Qantas. Who doesn't want to be associated with one of the biggest airlines in Australia, like Qantas? Like Shelley was mentioning, like the incentive-based kind of publisher partners as well, like a Shopback or formerly like a Cash Rewards, but now in market we've got Top Cashback coming out of the gates. We're actually incentivizing brands or customers to shop directly back into a direct-to-consumer brand. Where there are brands like a few of our clients are heavily wholesaled in market, it's making sure that you guys or brands have the opportunity to be considered that path to purchase right down to that conversion stage. Because ultimately, a lot of the big players in market, like a David Jones, an Iconic, and Maya, have a lot of extra bells and whistles that brands do not have. So let's unlock these partnerships and these commercial or niche, like top of funnel with performance PR, to unlock more traffic and awareness to brands.
Yeah, got it. You did mention there on top of funnel now, Ash, I know that you think about it for Big Red Group, kind of everything for that marketplace, driving to a return on investment, but you kind of think a lot about that full funnel, if you like. How do you think about the space?
Yeah, I think for us at the Big Red Group, one of the hurdles, it hasn't necessarily been partner performance, it's been reshaping the whole purpose of this channel internally. So historically, we've been very focused on just growing the affiliate channel, maximizing revenue, onboard as many partners as possible, whether the coupon, whether the commercial, whether the cashback, and it's just let the volume do the work. So we've seen like with Honey and other discount partners that in our last non-direct click attribution model, they delivered the fastest, quickest visible wins, but they often masked demand that was already existing and probably got the credit for customers that would have converted anyway. So moving up the funnel meant for us redefining what that success looked like. And it's really required us to reshape or reframe performance around incrementality, not just that top line revenue, accepting longer learning cycles. Like the way that we do our budget process is very line by line by line. How much money are we going to put in? What is the anticipated ROAS? Therefore, what is the anticipated demand return? And we are often KPI'd on that return. You know, we said we were going to hit this budget in this month. If we're behind, why are we behind? So shifting that whole way that we work internally between marketing and finance has been a long slog, and aligning stakeholders that not every partner should just win on that last click. So for an experienced marketplace, it's really mattered because we know that people they don't buy experiences transactionally. It's a very emotive purchase. So the content and the storytelling and the social proof often do the heavy lifting way before the sale. So today, and with the help of the Thoughtful Agency, we are operating on a very much less is more approach. So we are trying now to prioritize the quality partners over quantity. So focusing on a smaller group of value-led partners and measuring them properly. So once we aligned measurement to that mindset, it's helping us now to unlock a higher AOV, stronger brand trust, and a more resilient performance outside of that peak sale periods.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Chris, it's probably worthwhile you kind of diving into this a little bit longer, given that you work across a bunch of brands, building out these partnership ecosystems. How do you move brands away from just kind of pure discount partners to content creators and sort of other areas of this ecosystem?
I think a lot of brands, in my opinion, have just been so complacent with the affiliate channel doing what it's done and not really getting in and under the weeds. I guess when they're self-managed or internally managed, I think you don't get to see a full kind of agency view. I think utilizing those top of funnel publishers to really drive further brand awareness and recognition in market is going to allow brands to ultimately win during peak retail periods. So it's doing a lot of those fundamental work at the beginning of a partnership, like when we took over Big Red Group late last year. We did things a bit reversed. So ultimately, we really focused on peak retail and hitting as much growth and revenue for them as a business. Coming into the new year, we've kind of hit reset on the program with that less is more approach. So I think it's also just educating the clients and key stakeholders from a CEO like Dave at the Big Red Group down to a brand manager who is very brand protected and led, down to someone who is a digital marketing manager or performance manager who really looks at the performance of the channel and getting them in all in one room, get everyone aligned on the strategy. Because ultimately, in the Australian market, the brands that are winning at affiliate partnerships and growth are the ones that are still very brand protective in market. So it's just re-educating them, moving away from those discount bottom of funnel publishers. If we are still working with them, have a discount in play. We're actually driving up the average order value. So you're driving up the volume, the transactions, which we've done recently with a client called Arms of Eve in market, which has seen great results on that. So you can play in that kind of bottom of funnel discount space. Ultimately, a customer is always going to search brand name discount code. It's making sure that you're controlling that narrative and actually doing what you want that section of the funnel to do. And brands can control it. So why not control it? Like if a customer is landing on a more aligned discount page like our media. So they now run L Women's Day discount code and offers, and actually having your BAU offers in there, a discount code that drives up your average order value. A customer is probably going to increase their basket size because they see an incentive at that checkout stage, but it's something that's going to reward the channel as well.
Love how you've put that. Now, I would suspect, Chris, that you have some challenging conversations with some of the brands that you bring on and getting them in the right sort of headspace to follow your recommendation. Without giving away all the secrets, with maybe a couple of the brands that you've got on the webinar today, um, talk us through some of those challenging conversations that you have to have with senior folk in those brands to get their head around kind of the channel and the benefit of the channel.
I wouldn't say it was challenging. I think we've been in a position where we have been able to present, win, and retain business based off our initial strategy. And then we just evolve that strategy. So we we get a lot of new to channel brands. So it's that education from the first point. Maybe you do those bottom of funnel discount-led publishers with that kind of tactical initiative as a phase 3, where a lot more of our other clients, we've actually won them by doing audits and recommendations for the channel. So we basically jumped in, audited an account, rebooted an account, and scaled it. So I've been working at Thoughtful for 3 and a bit years now, and we've actually never had like a challenging client that's actually pushed back. We've probably had clients that go,
I think that's Ash and Shelley that's open for you guys now. Like it's a
Yeah.
challenge for you to kind of push back.
I'm like chomping at the bit here to be like, I think Chris is doing himself a disservice. To you, Chris, it must feel like it's common sense to you. And I've given you this compliment before. Like, I think you were born to do this job. Like, I am completely sold into how passionate you are and the courage and conviction that you speak with. But what you won't realize from the client side when you're presenting is that we half the time we don't know this stuff, and we don't know what we don't know as well. And some of it might not be met with challenge in that room because we're a little bit dumbfounded by like, oh wow, this is not how we understood this channel to operate. Like for me and the journey that I've been on at the Big Red Group, I worked in affiliates in the UK maybe like 15 years ago. And my mindset and what I was hearing from C-suite and BRG was almost that same narrative that I was used to in the UK 15 years ago, where you worked with like an affiliate and there was no control over codes or promos or how do you even give attribution or authenticate which leads are coming from where. It's grown so much, and it's the most volatile landscape. I think it keeps changing, but maturing. And I think without having the education and the experience that you bring to the table, Chris, I think we would have been left behind. I think we've really learned from your broader client and portfolio expertise, and I'm learning how to translate that into a way, with your help again, that makes sense for the Big Red Group brands.
How good's that, Chris? Look at that! Look at that
I
call
get
out.
very shy with these like
I know. Well,
compliments.
I'm taking commissions. Any brands that now move to the Thoughtful agency because of that high recommendation, just cut me in
Perfect.
20%. Hey, Shelley, you've run some partnership programs across multiple brands, I think, haven't you? Like you've been at Myer, Uniqlo. How do you balance between sort of authenticity, building brands, and then sort of performance, and the two sort of contexts? How have you done that in the past? How do you do it today?
Yeah, look, like you said, I've worked through a few retail environments. I'm very lucky not to be in the weeds at the moment. I've got Chris in the weeds for me, so that's good. Yeah, having been in the weeds and now, launching with Decjuba, I personally, every single time I start a new retailer, the lesson has always been that performance will always be stronger when you are building it on top of a strong brand, or you're building it with the brand, and not trading against it. So for Decjuba, what I would say is that we look at balancing and making sure that we anchor all of our activity, whether it be in the affiliate space or whether it be in other performance channels, that we anchor it back to the customer. Does it fit for the customer? Does it make sense when our customer sees Decjuba in certain partnership landscapes or in certain placements? Are they going, yes, this is a great alignment, or are they kind of tilting their heads a bit confused as to why we're there? And if that alignment is there, then, that's great. We are representing the brand in a great way, and we're proud of the way that we're showing up. And I think if that fit isn't there and there's that short-term performance, we generally won't move forward with it. I'm sure everyone has probably read the journal article, the long and the short of it. It's kind of that mentality where the more you focus on the brand and you're not focusing on those short-term spikes, that you're gonna see longevity in performance, as opposed to just kind of throwing everything at the wall and hoping it sticks, and seeing those short spikes, but it's confusing your customer and they're not aligning with you. So I do think that having brand and performance together is important. The second piece of that I think is really important, how your partners are visualizing that. Are you taking them along that journey with you? Are your publishers aware of what you're trying to protect or what you're trying to achieve? So are you showing up in their space that way? And I think for us, one of the most recent examples of it is, well, we've worked really at length on this one, Chris, but our denim campaign, we just relaunched our denim campaign. It's been massive work. We've had lots of articles go out, a lot of creator content go out in the denim space, and making sure that it makes sense. Where if someone's jumping on Shopback, are they seeing denim? If they're engaging with an article, is it more denim focused? So for us, that's kind of how we make sure that those two align, so that they're not competing priorities, they're actually helping each other, and there's actually longevity in that performance into the future.
Yeah, nice. Nice. You mentioned creators there. Chris, I'm going to come to you on this, because in the report that we did last year, which everyone will get, by the way, a link will go out after. So if you're signed up, you're listening now, you will get the report. It'll come to you via email. Is in that report, it said that 44% of Australian brands plan to dedicate more than a quarter of their digital marketing budget to creators this year. So, Chris, you work with a bunch of brands. Like, are you seeing this happen in the work that that you do? Have you noticed this?
Most definitely over the last probably 3 to 4 years, we've seen creators start to really take a foothold domestically and internationally. Brands unlock additional resources from a creator. It's content, it's awareness, it's traffic, it's eyeballs, where ultimately they're being able to use that content on Meta and Google through brand partnership ads. They get to reward a creator if it's an influencer, if it's a celebrity, if it's a makeup artist, even straight down to your customers who become brand advocates. So there's a lot more trust and authority around someone who actually speaks about a product, voice to camera on a TikTok. So we're seeing a lot of our brands tap into Impact Creator or LTK or Shop My to really start to accelerate their influencer strategies in market domestically and also internationally. Like, the American creators love to partner with brands and earn commission and drive volume and growth. And we've seen creators who will even just go and do a flat lay of a boot from a footwear brand, generate up to $50,000 in sales from a flat lay content. So the power of
Hey, Chris, sorry, man. What's flat lay? I don't even know. What does that mean?
flat lay, when you jump on like a fashion website, like let's say a Tony Bianco, they shoot their shoot just the product basically. So it's like a front-facing product shot
Right.
in a collage, and that can drive $50,000, or even down
Wow.
to a celebrity wearing a dress from a brand. Like, the the power of the human being behind a creator or an advocate for a brand can really untap potential for a business.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the stuff we're starting to see now on the rise is around performance creator. So, creators actually building product, putting it out there in the world, being paid for that, but then also being paid for the performance off the back of it. So the sale of the product, we see that as something that's, really, really trending high. And as you pointed out, Chris, like there's a lot that's going on in that space in the US. Um, Shelley, so like let's stick on this kind of creator kind of thinking. Creators are humans. Chris put it out there. It's great for your brand in that there's authenticity with those humans and the audience that kind of follow them. Um, and being humans, they kind of you need to have this relationship with them as well. Like how do you manage relationships with multiple creators that you may be working with?
Look, I won't take the credit for that because we have a PR and brand team that have really, really strong relationships with creators. Even before we launched affiliates, we did have those relationships. However, what affiliates and impact has been able to unlock is scaling that. So we're able to do a lot more now, and that relationship, we're able to understand which creators are driving outcomes for the business, which ones feel more authentic, which ones kind of are showing us trends that we should probably lean into a little bit more, and build those relationships even stronger based off of that data. So from a brand and connection perspective, that's completely on them. Like they do a great job of that. It's very organic. The trust is there. But from an affiliate point of view, I'm just kind of pointing the finger going, this is working. This is not, we should scale this. Let's pour more money into here. And seeing that grow and really kind of come back to the business and being able to measure it. Because I think prior to affiliates, that's one thing that we did struggle with, was being able to measure that activity and go and back to the business and say we should really invest in this and continue working in this space. Now we're able to kind of justify that investment and building those relationships of what works and what resonates with our customer.
Yeah, got it. Now I'm starting to see a few questions come through as well. Please keep them coming through. We've got 20 minutes or so left. I think we'll talk for another 10 and then we'll just answer some questions. I think that's probably the best way to go. So we'll stick on creators still. It's a hot topic. It definitely came out in the report on how important it is. Ash, interested in your view and how you're managing creators at Big Red Group?
Yeah, I think sort of echo some of Shelley's points then. I'm heading up the performance team. I am a data nerd. I feel more confident when there's data behind what we're doing. And I think the brand team have historically had influencers that they've worked with, and bringing influencers from brand together with performance through impact gives us the data that we need to Shelley's point, to be like, this is working, that's not working, this is where we should scale. And I think one of the key things for us is if we align upfront on the value exchange, like we're in a really great position to be able to provide experiences, and to find a creator that is aligned to our audience and sending them out on an experience where they have that genuine, authentic fun. It's an immersive thing. It's all raw, it's true. You can see exactly how they've prepared for the day, enjoyed the day, and the feeling that they have after the day is all captured. I think that's really great for that emotive sentiment again with our consumer. So sending them out on the experience helps us with that full funnel awareness of what you can get through Red Balloon, Adrenaline, and Experience Us, putting us straight onto that consideration list because you're seeing a familiar face that you might recognize from social media going out alone or with their friends or with their partner and enjoying that, and perhaps giving them a code to tap into a discount for that influencer or that content creator, to then get the commission for the sale attributed to that experience and that share from them. I think it helps us align that full funnel objective, where without binding brand performance to impact together in the past, we've missed out on our ability to say, this worked, it cost us this, it drove that much revenue, and our customers enjoyed it. Now we have that insight.
Yeah, nice. You just reminded me, actually. I got a Red Balloon voucher 2 years ago
Oh,
for my birthday. Will it
3 years to
has
go.
it how long is it expired? How long did it?
Have a 5 year validity. Yeah.
Yes. Brilliant. Okay, perfect. Okay, I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going
Awesome.
shopping. Um, AI, LLMs, large language models, and all that sort of gear,
Yeah.
affecting everyone in some way, shape, or form. Um, Shelley, how's your business responding to LLMs, AI, and all that sort of gear now that you can, you search for brands and products in ChatGPT and Gemini? Like that's got to be having an impact in some way, shape, or form.
Look, as a strong user myself, yeah, it's definitely on my radar. And I think for us, we are from an affiliates perspective, I'll talk to that more, but from an affiliate marketing perspective, we are kind of having that in mind when we reach out to media and we're, looking for a dedicated article, and those opportunities, making sure that what is in the content is answering or signaling to LLMs. So for instance, I'll come back to denim just because it's the easiest one. Making sure that, we're talking about the fit, we're talking about the material, we're talking about those certain things that will get picked up by LLMs for suggestions. Even if someone were to think about like a capsule wardrobe or what to get for Mother's Day, those kind of questions that are plugged into ChatGPT, are we surfacing for them? But yes, the team are from a broader business perspective, it's definitely on our radar. We're doing a lot on our website. We're doing a lot from our product feed. We work with Intelligent Reach, and they've been giving a lot of suggestions on how to ensure our product feed is LLM friendly. And that also feeds into the affiliate space because, the product feed is used in the affiliate space as well. So yeah, making sure that on majority of our touch points, we're answering questions as opposed to just using fluffy language to sell the product.
Yeah, nice, nice. And we're seeing that this whole area of content commercialization, if you want, or distributing content into publishers, writing articles with links and that sort of thing around the content, listicles, really does help as well for your brand to show up in the LLM. So, yeah, good to hear. Ashley, have you got a view?
Yeah, I think we're seeing this be the most disruptive thing, I think, across the channel mix. The impact of AI overviews, it's hit us in a few different areas, and I think this does continue to be one of those volatile things, unfortunately. I think there's always a risk and a reward, or, a threat and an opportunity when there's change. And I think, as I was just explaining then, in sending our creators out on the experience, it's a very genuine, authentic write up thereafter anyway. And I think so long as you are going into deeper content and it's experience led and it's got that storytelling element, then you're gonna benefit from that value. If you focus on, a guide to what to do that day, or a genuine review, or bring that local expertise, they're all of the trust signals that Google are looking for, to show that content in an AI overview. So if we're optimizing content that's structured and semantically clear for the, to bring the tech side to the forefront, I don't think those creators that are genuinely passionate about the brands that they're working with have anything to worry about, because that alignment will be rewarded as a trust signal. It's just important to bear in mind that, our traditional SEO and traditional ways that we write content, we still want to have that visibility as well. But also just having that reputable, authoritative lens when we are working with creators, and ensuring the alignment is there to make sure that those trust signals are fired as well. I think if you're good at it and you're genuine, you've got nothing to worry about. If it's kind of been one of those link farming thin content things, then we're going to take the hit, unfortunately.
Yeah, totally, totally. Let's move to some advice for those that are viewing, and then yeah, we'll dive into the questions. So we'll stick with you, Ash. Advice for 2026 for those that are listening, to help them on their partnership journey, how to get success out of the channel. What would one piece of advice be that you have?
Oh, I think, and this is an ongoing realization for me, I think you have to have an open mindset. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to be willing to experiment, adapt, change. If you're stuck in your ways of working and continue to throw the same solve at a situation that is broken, it's madness. You've got to lean on your network. You've got to lean on the advice and the experience of those around you, and take on the advice that is relevant to your brand and your KPIs. Unfortunately seen people stick to what they know, and because this landscape is just continuing to develop and emerge and grow and become more mature, your mindset and your approach to it also has to do that. So you have to be brave. I try and do everything with, look, I'm looking at historical data, historical performance, and try and trend out and find my own insights and kind of make my own hypothesis on what's going to happen. But I have a very open mind to be proven wrong, and I enjoy that challenge and that debate. So I think you have to tap into webinars like this. You have to read, you have to stay listening to podcasts. You just have to be willing to take on the information and to try something new. Otherwise, you just get left behind.
Yeah, great advice there. Chris, what's your advice for those listening?
Challenge the channel in 2026. Have fun with it. Tap into new partnerships. Utilize it from a top of funnel down to a conversion funnel. We're not gonna re-educate the Australian consumer overnight around the way that they are shopping and how they've always shopped in market. I guess it's making sure that you are really looking at the numbers, looking at where each partner sits within the funnel, driving efficiencies into the channel as well. So that's driving down costs. So making sure that the channel is as efficient as it can be and utilizing those partners within that ecosystem as efficiently as you can.
Got it. Where do I sign? Shelley?
Okay, mine probably echoes a lot of everything that Ash and Chris has said.
It
So for
sucks
me,
going last, doesn't it?
yeah, it sucks. I would say the key thing from my side is just making sure that you're not measuring on last click for affiliates. It's very easy to do, and not measuring in isolation. Look at your whole channel mix and see how they feed each other. For us, a lot of the stuff that we do in affiliates can feed into our traditional paid media stuff as well. So make sure that, yeah, you're not measuring in isolation. Watch out for those signs of cannibalizations and scale where you see that growth. Make sure you're not looking at one KPI, have a few like checkpoints, and from there your affiliate program should thrive.
Nice. Now, I hope the audience has their note-taking devices all going, their AI note-taking devices. They can then decipher all this and summarize it. But look, some of the things that stood out to me, and then once again, you're going to get your state of affiliate marketing report, so you'll get that in email. But we talked about diversity of partner mix, AI, and how important that is. Not only, we talked a little bit about AI actually from an LLM perspective, but also I think how to use it as a business. That comes through in the report. That was interesting. Creators as well, elevating of creator partnerships, and then this whole measurement. So bridging that gap in measurement. So there are a few things that came out for me. And you will receive it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. You'll receive it in an email. But let's jump into these questions to close out. We've got about 7 minutes or so. Got a bunch of the questions here, and I'm just going to put you guys on the spot. Okay, Ash, are brands experiencing margin erosion through affiliate?
Ooh, I think that's something to definitely be careful of. We had a conversation similar to this yesterday. I think if I talk about Big Red Group and our peak transaction moments, they're all around those gifting seasons. So Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, even Black Friday, Cyber Monday's become a big gifting hallmark for us now. We've got to be very careful not to focus on volume at any cost. We have to protect our margin whilst we scale to that demand. So I think affiliates works well for us because it lets us flex that investment quickly around those gifting moments. Um, I think what's powerful is touching on that full funnel again, is that we can lean into the content and the inspiration-led partners when people are browsing. So in that consideration phase, in the lead up to that hallmark or that retail moment, and then we can switch to the conversion focused partners closer to the gifting deadline, because we call them last minute Larrys. We literally get that spike in conversion the day before, like Christmas Eve is huge for us, and even Christmas Day morning, the instant voucher, like it's crazy. People leave it to the last minute. So affiliate
Guilty.
works really well for us there. So yeah, I think it becomes more of a control lever during peak, not just a volume driver, but absolutely, yes, we have to protect our margin. And, we have daily reports that, we're watching the revenue into the business, of course. But gross profit is the number one KPI for us. So, looking at our commissions, looking at our discount percentage, what we pay our suppliers, it's a complex equation. But we can manage it quite well through affiliate.
Yeah, good. And if you've got the right platform in place,
Of
you can
course.
optimize for profitability as well. So,
Yeah.
Chris, I'm going to come to you on this one, and it is around creators. Can you please clarify what criteria you use to determine whether creator activity is performing effectively?
It it takes some take you've got to zoom out to zoom in. I would look at how each market is very different. And again, there's another question regarding what's the best way of paying for creators and content. But the
Yep.
way we look at it, say we're looking at the Australian market, the creator is definitely an influence to the path to purchase. So they're going to discover a brand through a trust or authority-led partner like a creator. But ultimately, we all know the way that we shop in the domestic Australian market. We shop around, we look for the best delivery, the best incentive at checkout. So it's understanding that in the Australian market, it is an influence to the path to purchase. But if a consumer is purchasing directly off the back of a creator, I'd want to be extracting that information and targeting that customer mindset and that customer segment specifically with creator content. Again, back to another question I just saw around paying a CPA or a fixed fee or a tenancy for a creator. The US and international markets, the creators love to earn a commission, where I think in the Australian market, we've all done this as brand custodians, as marketing managers. We've kind of allowed creators just to deliver the work and move on. So I think we're all in that kind of trajectory to re-educate the creators. And we've got LTK in the market to support us, Impact Creator and Shop My in market to really help educate us on that. And I think we are seeing creators more come around to working a little harder for that commission and really show that they are truly looking to partner with brands more deeply. So it's understanding that it is in the Australian market an influence to the path to purchase while also conversion objective, but the same in all markets. While you might see in the US market, you see more creators generating revenue and cut through, you're also understanding that you're going to see potentially a heavily wholesale business that a creator in Australia wears a Nike activewear outfit. They might not buy directly from Nike. They're probably going to buy from a Rebel Sport or an Iconic. So it is part of that ecosystem and part of that influence to the path to purchase.
You got really embarrassed before, Chris, when Ashley was saying how good you are, but gee, you're good, mate. Gee, you are good. Shelley, LLMs again. What's been the impact of on organic and paid search for you? Have you seen an impact there?
I would say from a paid search perspective, no, not much change for us at the moment, just given that, like I said, we are scaling. So we actually are seeing year-on-year growth. In terms of organic, yes, there's definitely been some kind of behavior changes that we're seeing in organic search. However, I think that the more that you do in terms of activations, campaigns, that can kind of counter that a little bit. Like we have seen with our recent campaigns, organic search kind of increased just given the activity that we've had in market, ensuring that influencers are talking about us, ensuring that we're showing up in the relevant places. Your direct and your organic search is going to increase as a result of that. I think with LLMs, it's more answering that question. So you need to tailor those different content pieces for those different channels. When it comes to organic search, making sure that your brand is relevant, making sure that you've got those campaign activations you're being seen, LLMs, answering questions, making sure that your content is tailored to answer questions. So yes, it has impacted it, but I don't think it's a negative impact.
Got it. Now I've got a big red siren going off telling me to wrap it up. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Ashley, Shelley, and Chris. For those that listening and viewing, thanks for tuning in. You'll get an email with a link to the report. You can dive into it. I'm sure you can DM these guys as well. Ashley, Shelley, and Chris on LinkedIn can be found there. Look out for them. I think Ashley looks different. She's got blonder hair on LinkedIn, but everyone else looks pretty much the same. Guys, thanks for having thanks for having me. Thanks for joining. Take care. See you later. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.